Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Startup Legends podcast. Remember, here at Startup Legends, we interview rock stars from around the ecosystem. Top people that are running accelerators, heads of VC funds, limited partners and family offices investing in the space, corporate innovation, government. We cover everything startups, innovation, venture capital, and we are trying our best to demystify the space and allow everyone to understand a bit of the complexities behind it. Today with us here, we have an amazing guest. We have Evelyn Y.K Lee, who's the founder and managing partner of Wine Ventures Corporation, an international venture capital strategic advisor known for guiding fast growth companies through investment and complex capital raises, global expansion, and game-changing positioning. Her work spans Silicon Valley to New York, to Europe, to Asia, and beyond, connecting visionary founders with capital, clarity, and strategy. And she has lived in seven global cities, and as a true global citizen for many years, but currently calls Vancouver her temporary home. Today, she will be sharing insights from the front lines of international venture capital, family offices, where opportunity lives in alignment, leadership, and courage to move precision, but most importantly, the passion, the humanity that is missing that we need to recapture in this world. May I now call upon Evelyn? Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me here today.
Please jump in and tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm Canadian. I born and raised in the British Hong Kong. I left Hong Kong at the age of 17, supposedly go to America and end up in Canada.
Okay.
End up just about an hour away from Toronto.
Oh, okay.
I did my high school in Hamilton, Ontario.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so you got a chance to come. And what year was this?
I'm a senior lady.
So this 90s, it was in the 90s when you moved to Canada?
Yeah.
And so
80s.
from that period of time, right? Tell us a bit about your career and where did you go from there?
It's been a long time, so I've been very, very fortunate. I think I'm always almost at the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I miss a little bit of the Silicon Valley that when I had my first fund, it's called First Venture Fund.
Mm-hmm.
I started that at the tail end of the Silicon Valley, .com.
Yeah, the 2000 and 2001 era. Yeah,
Exactly. So if I started just a couple years earlier, the valuation at that point was really skyrocketed.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that in my first fund that some of those companies that are just too overpriced.
Right.
And especially in startup, there's so much risk. And this is how I look back, how I started my career. Is actually, I was then living in Vancouver and invited by an entrepreneur. He was top 30 under 30, had multiple internet companies like register.com, internet gateways. So he invited me to help him out in one of his venture that have some financial difficulties. He over leveraged because he thought he was the number one in that space. He was probably on a very short time number one post, but then it's like number one to number like top 3, top 5. So it's all about how fast, right? I mean, everything goes so fast.
Speed, yeah.
Yeah.
In this industry, it's so important for the movement of like execution because things are changing so rapidly. We're in the world of AI today, which is moving so rapidly.
Even though nowadays, holy, how fast we cannot.
It can't even keep up. Like as we're speaking right here, people are launching new technologies around the world that are going to be not just incremental.
Yeah,
they're like exponentially changing.
Absolutely.
Right? So let's go chronologically. Right after this initial fund that you had, you learned a lot, and people like came out of the time period when the .com bubble kind of burst.
Yeah.
And now you're in the early 2000s, right? So take us from there about your career.
Well, so much to go back to. Just think about, I deep down, I'm an entrepreneurial and internationally. So when I was a little girl, I told myself, I want to travel around the world. I want to see the world. I want to do good things. I want to help people. Really, this is what motivated me. So I have been very fortunate. So back then, family office, was just, I think in Asia, not even exists. So I was very fortunate to I always got approach. People reach out to me to help them with something.
Some of the really cool highlights I've just been going through, it was like you starting out from this, even that family office, like
Yeah.
bringing people together.
Yeah.
Then after that, going into investment banking.
Yes, I
right?
did.
You did a stint in investment banking and other
Yeah.
assets. Talk about some of the other
Yeah.
asset classes you
So
worked with.
other is alternate asset class. So I done one pretty interesting. It's no longer in business. It's called Canadian Baseball League.
Oh,
So-
the CBL. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they came from Seattle, actually Bellevue area, and was executive of Microsoft. So Tony and Mr. Leo, they partner up. So they come up to Vancouver, have an office, because Tony was very passionate, training like younger people into sportsmanship. And
Right.
then baseball is, what they choose to do.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to put together a minor league, baseball league. So I were helping them
That's so cool.
some seed money. They and the fun part was we were in Taiwan. Yeah, we were all together in Taiwan. We were together in Tokyo, I think, also, and then China. All
Right.
this is like actually meetings, investor meetings.
Right.
Yeah, we were, I think when Taiwan, that's the family office that I was working with that funded my first venture fund, the investment fund, invested into 7 high-tech companies back then, Silicon Valley based.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like all this is very interesting. It's like one thing, next thing, and then everything connected. Like how you and I connected, right? We were in the Web Summit, Vancouver. My associate, as I say, I have 3 colleagues there, right? Because we have 4 bodies to be like able to map out this all the events. But I didn't even have any time to listen in any of the other sections because it's so busy.
So
the
busy,
whole
so overwhelming, right?
Yeah. So you and I, we had that 15 minutes?
15 minutes sit down.
Only 15
And
minutes.
that's all it needed, right? To get connected, feel the energy and the synergy. Now we're halfway across the country, or speaking in Toronto now, and we just met last week.
Yeah, and then you came to the hotel lobby for another 15 minutes. So you and I had that 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and this time longer, the third time.
Yeah.
So I think globally, this will be in the future how business will be operating
100%.
because we're just so busy.
Yeah.
We are just like, time is like,
It's the one commodity that is hard for us to in the world of investments and relationships.
Yeah.
You need to put the time into relationships, but the
Yeah.
thing is that you don't have enough time to put in as many
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah.
I've met 80,000 people, traveled to 1,000
it's so-
conferences. How do you keep track of everybody?
I was
It's
like,
not easy.
I have been around. I've seen a lot. I mean, but you inspire me when you came to the hotel lobby, downtown Toronto, sitting on the couch, and then you have this bag of business cards. I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's 2,000-3,000 business cards in
I
that
was
bag.
what is this?
Yeah. Just amazing people all over the world. And, as you talk a bit about your team, you talked a bit
Yes.
about a few of the associates you've got, but
Yeah.
you also have partners in Vine Ventures. Can you talk a bit more about your partners?
Yeah, so I collect good people, like you collect business cards. Yeah, so my venture partners, I have in Germany, Hamburg class. We have met each other many, many years, long time. Half of your age. And we have been working together on projects, like companies that sometimes it's I have position, and then other times he has position, he has invested in. So one example, company in the sustainable aviation space that they are manufacturing trolley that can be purchased by the airlines.
Okay.
So that company we co-invested. Yeah, he invested long time ago. First time I met the founder. It was like 10 years ago. So they were like, wanted to meet up when I was in Germany. So we met up. I said, wow, you know what? You just starting again. He has a very successful track record, like previously very, very successful.
Yeah.
It's just that now you're starting again, brand new, because it has to have a product, a physical product that it takes time to even put together a prototype, right? So I said no many years ago, and then we connected because Klaus then stayed on as the investor and also advisor. So we connected us to meet up 2-3 years ago, and then we participate. So in that round, my partner in the UK, Evelyn, she come in, and then also a capital partner in Hong Kong, the family office, they came in.
Yep.
So I did a small check, not even check, because basically the fund come into the Canadian bank. So the bank, the top guy know me, and then I go, yes, just send out. So this is how I think can do it really, really effectively and can really help the company. A lot of time I've learned, I was just recently back. I just came back from New York a day ago, and then the week ago I was back another trip. The security attorney that I work with about 12, 13 years ago, back then there's another fund called, is specialized in mineral resources that we're trying to put together. So we have we have Ruth. She's one of the top security SEC attorney. So she was helping me to structure the fund. What lesson I have learned from that is after 2 years, there's a lot of regulatory, and my then business partner of the fund, because he has like positions in 10 venture companies, like small ventures that they have, like sometimes greenfield, they call it, like they might acquire like a piece of land and they trying to go to there's mining is another like different animal, right? You're not talking high tech company, not talking SaaS where you create a product and then blah 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 blah. Like mining is you go and drill and dig, right? That's different asset class, right? The minerals. So I have learned from that, spending back then lots of money because they're very expensive, those lawyers. And they bring in not only security lawyer, they bring in the tax attorney, they bring in other advisor. I thought, wow, we don't need like 10 people on a conference call, but we did. So because very like serious conference call, right? So I learned nowadays it's not like that anymore. I was just at her office. She's now working for another very like huge law firm. Was at her office saying hello, and you see those like the boardroom, like from here to all the way, like you can like seriously how. So those I think, wow, it's like maybe multi-billion dollars, the board of directors, and then they making a deal, and then you have like acquisition, maybe 3-4 companies, all the executives like making a deal. You can feel up that, right? Now in this generation, in this time, it's like this is like business dealing, right? This is like
it's very different. It's gone from a very traditional to more like more casual, more relationship. You get to know each other, not just da 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 da. It's like there's a little purpose behind it too, right?
All about purpose.
And so like you mentioned this one clause from your from Germany. You have 2 other partners, general partners on your team as well, right?
Yeah. So one I have in Germany, one in London. Okay, and I have one also. Like don't want to show face, okay, and one in New York. Okay. Adam is always very low profile. So we have also venture in Canada called Eden Advisors. So his firm have a very long track record, been around like almost 30 years. Odyssey, that they have some really big names but for confidentiality, cannot disclose
Of
some of the
course.
names because they have all this mutual NDAs and very serious, just legal still. Even with Eden right now,
Yeah.
when we meeting new companies, he needs me to like sign NDA, like have the other party, and sometimes like, what is this like really serious, like, really heavy courses. So some they read and then they sign, and some when they seriously read, they say, hey, this is like one way. We need mutual. So those are the smart one because they do, and then we say, okay, they take the time
To
to
read it,
right? So Adam and I, we are partner Eden Advisors. So what we wanted to do is use the model he had with FM Ventures. They have 6 funds. So AUM is more than $500 million. So 3 are closed. They do have an evergreen fund.
That just keeps deploying. Yep.
Yeah. So very, very selective. So our partnership is to exactly use that same model for Canadian companies.
Amazing.
And I think timing is also very important because I kind of moved back to Canada. I was living, I really feel like I'm like more of a New Yorker American because a lot of my career is like I learned it and experienced in San Francisco and New York.
Right.
And of course, like I spent a lot of time in, like I just came back from Austin. And also last year was like in Seattle 6 times. I travel a lot to, but America, like now with everything happening, is, I think, is quite challenging.
Right.
Because I am a person, I think about us as humans. Like, I don't think about like so much, like, but now all this geopolitical, acting so much capacity and risk, not necessary, not helping entrepreneurs, not really helping like new businesses, small businesses. And so I really, if whatever I can do to add more positivity, to really to gap, like, hey, actually there's so many nice Americans. I have so many American friends.
Right.
I go to America all the time. I used to live there part-time, for like 15, 20 years. So I think there's a lot of good people also in America. So I really wish the leadership in all countries, can really step up and do good for the people.
Yeah. Like purpose is so important. I think, we are gone, like one of our new prime minister had written a book called Values, and it talks about how the world has gone through different ages. We started off with call it like the Iron Age, then we went into this like Stone Age, the Iron Age, then we went into the agricultural age, then we came into the industrial age with the trains, and then we went into the information age. Now we are being set to enter into the purpose age, where everything we do has some underlying purpose that it's measured against. It's just beginning. Like we just started this era with like ESG and DEI initially, but now it's going deeper into like, so yeah, you can make money, but what bigger purpose then do you serve the community other than that? And are you polluting? Are you doing these things? So, I want to talk a bit about purpose.
Yeah.
I know you're a huge purpose person. Me too. Like everything we do, I think traveling the world like we do, and we do a part of the motivation and the inspiration and the energy you get comes from that purpose. So I want to talk a bit about your purpose. Why do you do this?
Well, going back to me being a little girl, I saw my parents, they work very hard. I'm very fortunate because they sent me to private school in Canada, in Hamilton. In my generation, there's still the grade 13. So in my generation, coming as an international student was like big deal. Like
back then, yeah.
Yeah, big deal. I still remember relatives go to the airport, to the old airport, Thai Tech airport, like really big deal. Well, you're going to study overseas. Yeah, you're traveling from Hong Kong to, let's say they were thinking America, to San Francisco. Well, that didn't happen. So I end up in Canada. Wow, Hong Kong all the way to like Canada. Wow, cool. What is this? So And I'm really thankful to my parents because they worked very hard. They had the factory. They themselves are entrepreneurs. They are working all the time. And I think deep down in me that I wish I can help them, but I didn't live with them at all. I lived with my grandparents all my life. So I am very appreciative. And also I learned so much from my grandmother.
Right.
Because I lived all my life with my grandparents. And she's a very distinctive good woman. And very interesting story how that she and my grandfather, they were like the richest family in that smaller village. So my grandfather never need to work his entire life. They have maids, they have servants, and my grandmother, of course, she doesn't need to do much, right? But when they left to Hong Kong, some political, cultural revolution, with all that thing, they lost everything from the riches to nothing, and then started again. And when she died, she accumulated a lot of, I would say, good. To me, it's more like the soul,
right?
Like the soul asset. Of course, the physical asset, the apartments, but what in my heart is always like remembering the stories she told me, how she helped people, how she make people dying almost like a victim. Like seriously, I was little girl listening, how can that be, right? But then she say, oh, they really, really sick, ill. And then she's not a doctor, right? But then she used all this like oil, like put them all over the body, roll them up, and then she awake. I said, holy, no, exactly, right? Like, but it was real.
Yeah.
It's amazing, right? And then listen to her, how she's like, never need to work, and then now all of a sudden, like 50 years old, starting to work. It's really inspirational. My grandfather also. So I grew up in those like environment. I never see my parents. I see my parents maybe every Sunday, but never really even talk.
Yeah.
And then I've been gone. So I think deep down, I wish I can have my parents that they don't need to work so hard. If they were able to be capitalized by venture capital, they can have a management team helping them out, and then they have to manage everything. Small business, they have a lot of workers, so there's taking contracts from kind of like a subcontractors, right?
Yeah.
You have the general contractors, and then you have the subcontractors, and then you have all the workers like construction sites, right? So I think deep down a lot of those built into subconsciously that I really want to do so much. See, this is the first time actually interesting you asked me. I never thought about that way.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm also unpacking the reason why, because like, look, if you see your parents struggling but ambitious, working hard, and the environment's against them, they don't have access to capital, they don't have access to
because
grow.
Back then they don't even need to, because they already in a good position. They have the factory. They have able to have their own money to afford to be in a factory, so they have that physical factory, and then all the physical machines, they can buy all that, so they have their own capital, right? But it's just that maybe educational wise in that generation, it's not like, hey, if you can hire, have business partner come in, and then you can
have more time. Honestly, this is one thing, when we talk about entrepreneurship and ambition too, people see me and traveling and doing all this work. But I also try to make sure the work-life balance is there, because having that proper balance allows you to work harder during the time you are working but more output. So when you look at it over the span of time, maybe somebody's working longer, but they're not working smarter and not working harder.
Yeah.
When you constrain your time for the purpose of living a balanced life.
I still have to learn that.
Yeah.
I still have to learn that, become better, because not so proud of myself that I'm sleeping only 4 or 5 hours, because I'm just so well awake. So much. The brain here is like sometimes feel like 10 computers.
Yeah. I think every entrepreneur has like a little bit of ADHD.
Yeah,
in that
totally.
helps,
People
right?
ask me, hey, you actually, I say, yeah, I am.
Same. I was having this conversation yesterday with somebody. I'm like, to be able to do all these
Yeah.
things and still be focused and to like have some direction in mind.
Yeah.
It may seem like chaos,
Yeah.
but there is a method to the madness, right?
Yeah.
So like I can understand that. I see that's where the passion kind of comes from for you, right? Because now you see your parents
I didn't even
struggling.
know.
Yeah.
Seriously,
It's a nice
thank you for asking me.
Yeah, no, because it's important because look, for me
Yeah.
to learn about you, it's like that past is what's is brought you to here, but it'll also bring you in the future. What's coming next?
Well, you know what? I could have been just not working so much anymore. Like I'm flying out tomorrow. I threw in, was it yesterday?
So you flew in from Manhattan yesterday from New York?
Yeah.
And you're going back to Vancouver tomorrow?
Yes, but I was in Manhattan a week ago.
Okay.
I was invited to the digital crypto summit by the mayor's office.
Mm-hmm.
So New York mayor at the residence Glaciers mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was when I got the invitation, I said, I heard something interesting about the funny business of the New York mayor. I'm not too deep down into all this political. I just don't have time.
Yeah.
But I'm aware. So I thought, well, if I go, I should ask my colleagues, because some of my colleagues are very conservative. So it's interesting. I always ask for a few, like an investment committee, right? Like 5, sometimes 7. Where you ask every single one.
What do you think about
what do you think?
Yeah.
So I say, I asked 3. Okay, should I go? So one say, one say, go. One say, don't go.
You have maybe, yes, and no. But you ended up going.
And I did not say yes. So I'm all the time like that. When people ask me something, I really wanted to help.
So you want to say yes until you realize maybe you can't say yes, but until then you want to. Yeah.
Yeah. So it took some time. So at the very last minute, I think just a few days, I said, okay, going. Yeah. So because my friend who organized the events, they have is a friend of mine for 15 years. We knew each other when he was starting up. He's also partially fusion venture fund, traction scale. Which is phenomenal, so super smart. I'm very fortunate. I'm working with some very, very smart and good people. So anyway, going back to traveling and all this passion, I'm just really, really passionate. A lot of time, I don't even sleep because, the time, and you have to fly different hours, and sometimes the flight price, a lot of times just last minute. And we're actually fortunate in your generation, flying is a lot cheaper.
A lot cheaper, yeah, definitely.
When I started, wow, even though I remember I had BlackBerry, they're using BlackBerry. Now it's all I have my 7 iPhones already, 16, every time it's you need more memory. You also I love taking photos, video, all that, recording, and it's just max out. So what I'm trying to say is time have really changed so much, so fast. And from this point on to what you want to accomplish, time is, how are you going to measure that from what you want to get to? You share with me when you want to get to close your own baby, this round. And then when it's interesting, when in between our 2 meetings, something so positive already happened. It was just a period of a few days.
Right.
After we met you, I check out of the hotel, meetings, and then Manhattan and back here, and then you already have a new shareholder.
Yeah.
Yeah, giving you a good size check.
Yeah, exactly.
And then willing to work for you for free for 3 months. That is fascinating. I think everybody need to hear about that kind of story. The world has changed.
The world has changed, and That's why I love doing these podcasts with really good, like, forward-thinking people, because you kind of get an idea and see where the world is going, and that's kind of what leads me to my next question for you,
Yeah.
Evelyn, is
Yeah.
like, you started with the family office world. Let me tell
Yeah.
you, not a lot of people know what family offices are.
Back then.
Yeah, back then.
Back then.
Even now, a lot of people don't know, and I'm still educating, high net worths of how to build themselves into a family office or like how to use it. But pretty much the concept now that people are pooling in their money either as a single family or a multifamily with the whole purpose of making investments in real estate, venture capital, private equity. Now VC has been seeing an insane insurgence of family offices who have come in to invest a lot. I mean, in the last, I'd say since 2018, okay, 75% of all the LPs in a VC fund globally were institutions.
Yeah.
Now, 70% are actually family offices, which is a huge change, right? So to ask you, in leading in this world, what do you think family offices' role in venture capital is?
Well, I think they're very responsible to contribute.
Yeah.
Because they are, with significant wealth, that they are in a position with capital, which are still a major currency.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Right? Of course, with all this crypto and fiat, and there's another topic, another universe.
It's just coming out,
It's just that they can use the capital to do the right thing.
Right.
Not just because I have this background from Asia and from Hong Kong. Hong Kong is very similar, like New York, like it's very, very efficient. It's was the top financial center.
Yeah, ambitious, go. Everyone's hustling, and I understand the mentality. And so,
even though I only have 17 years there, but recently I went back to Hong Kong early this year. So, and all this is interesting. I never stayed in Hong Kong for like a month, but this time I did. Because my mother was ill, so I wanted to spend more time before she come back to Canada. She has been living by coast, like, Hong Kong and also Canada, because her grandchildren, some they are in there. Hong Kong. In Canada, she has friends. So the Hong Kong Asian Financial Forum event that I attended in January allowed me to see how Hong Kong is still remain as a epicenter
of finance and trade, right?
Of course, there's a lot of debate, and I heard some all the time people say, "Hey, why don't you go to Singapore?"
Right, Singapore is growing too fast.
People leaving to Singapore, like not Hong Kong, but I have this thing, I was born and raised there, even though I've been gone for so many years. I do. I can see beyond a lot of those comments because, it's a very international city, like so international. And there's different expats, like Canadians, so like have 300,000 Canadians in Hong Kong, right?
That's a lot.
Yeah, 300,000 is, right?
Didn't know that. That's actually a lot.
Yeah. Even more. It's just that I think a lot left, the last few years of the political
the situation happening.
Events. And but this time I saw I saw that the city is still very vibrant. There are a lot of new infrastructures, and of course you listen to different people, and then they say, "Wow, the real estate, crashed, the prices went down." Well, you know what? That's probably normal. Why? Because it has been all the time so high. Hong Kong pricing,
itself, right?
It's like normal correction, right?
Normal correction,
so it's like.
Even here in Toronto right now, the condo prices are dropping like tomorrow, but they're overvalued, right?
Exactly. So, to start with this overvaluation, this valuation topic that you're an expert of, right? So
that's why I see these family offices in Hong Kong, in Singapore, massive group, right, are pooling their wealth together and making investments. And during the pandemic, last 10 years, they grew so much.
Yeah.
The average family office grew 47% in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
Okay, which is unheard of in history.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now. A lot of people, traditionally, like you're saying, have been in stealth mode. They don't come out. They don't talk to people.
They don't.
But the thing is, now it's starting to realize that missing publicity is losing them out on deals, losing them out because people want to see, like, okay, who you backed by. oh, this family, we never heard of them.
Yeah.
Oh, now we know, but it gives the credibility of the capital raise, you know?
It's so interesting. This was the same question just happened 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Before I threw out, have a lunch by venture fund that they are one of the top one, like focus in SaaS investment. So it's the second meeting. They very interested to lead the next round, Series A, B, of one of my portfolio company. So that's exactly the question. Because they know some of my background, but they don't know all of my background. They know it from high level, from the founder told them, and from the 20 minutes first coffee gathering. And that was so successful. And then from a coffee meeting to a sit-down lunch invitation, and then to, hey, come back, founder, meet with the boss 2 weeks later. So they also trying to find information, but girl like me, I've been always very, very low profile. I don't, I have, I mean, my LinkedIn is not even, I don't even have time to, I never need to. I don't need to have a presence. But now I feel I'm responsible because I cannot halfway, and then I'm responsible to the portfolio companies.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit bigger than that too. I think the passion and the experience you have, you're going to rob the world of not sharing that with them by not being on these types of podcasts or not putting yourself out there. And there's so much wealth of knowledge that needs to be exported. But there's a careful balance in family office between being too open and being too closed. And I think I'm getting, as a family office advisor on venture capital, I'm being asked that question. The same thing you said. It's we'll make investments, but nobody's ever heard of us before. So will that cause any problems? And I'm telling you, it doesn't. You know why? Because now we're noticing that we look at the patterns of big brand name VC funds who lead rounds, and the ability for them to repeat or do well is not there. So the thing is that when startups tell me ask me a question, oh, this big, this no name fund or lower fund is trying to invest in us and they're trying to lead, should we take them or should we wait for a brand name fund? I say, no, the world has changed. This is not 10 years ago where we need the credibility of the fund's name to help the company get into contracts or to get into the world. The company itself can provide enough product market fit that they can do it themselves. And in some cases, that actually might hinder you.
Yeah.
In some of those names, if there are portfolio companies or bad blood from other, maybe one portfolio company worked with Microsoft, didn't do a good job. Now they see that name of the same fund, they don't want to work again. There's those things as well, right?
So of course.
I'm asking to you, where do you see family office now roll into venture? Do you think they're going to go deeper?
I think yes, definitely. They are. I mean, nowadays, media. There's so many different sources of media, right? I mean, information age.
Overload,
it's they are aware, right? It's just whether they can find trusted partner to guide them. Capital doesn't mean knowledge. They capital, they earn it somewhere, sometime in some industry during certain period. That success earned them to amass,
the wealth needed to do things.
But doesn't mean they have the knowledge about
because maybe this is what I tell people sometimes, and even in VC this is correct. Sometimes luck plays a role into it. Sometimes timing plays a role into it. And does that mean you can replicate that same success? Maybe not.
Maybe not. Definitely. Maybe not. In investment prospectus, it's always say disclaimer, past success doesn't guarantee future performance.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. it's a fiduciary line item.
It's small, but it's there.
Success does not lead to predict future outcomes.
No.
But so I can definitely see that. More family offices, knowledge is required. Big part of my job is also going out there and educating. Putting on more conferences, closed door meetings and events. And I see them both in the LP side where they're investing into funds as less risky. Going into deals, and a few even going into new asset like crypto and DeFi, right?
Exactly.
So do you see that now as we expand this asset class, between the LP and being the GP and investing, where do you think our family offices will be playing more into?
I think they definitely are already, some of them already in. They're just quiet.
Yeah. In LP or as a GP in rounds?
I would say more LP because
It's a little bit. It's a little less.
GP, you still
risky,
need that. Yeah.
High risk, right? So And have you ever invested in a fund? Have you been an LP?
Not in that. I actually invest my own money. I was a miner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually first generation. I bought the actual mining machine.
Oh wow. Okay.
Seriously.
Nice. An actual mining machine.
I did.
For which type of like?
It's called. I think it's called Jupiter. It was bought from Sweden.
Okay.
Because I remember the founder I work with, top 30 under 30. So he has over 150 employees. So the top geek guy, tech geek, the really genius tech geek, right? So I was asking, like, set up on, like, back then, I travel a lot already. So a lot of time, like the phone and then all this, like, how connection, like helping me with the tech thing. So he was telling me about this Bitcoin thing. I said, what Bitcoin? And, so white paper. So I remember we had like sit down like at least like, 3 times because I'm very fast. Used to. I'm still fast, but I love to learn. And then I say, wow, this is fascinating. But I try to understand. But eventually I got it, right?
Yeah.
So he convinced me to buy the mining machine. So I bought the mining machine, but of course they also depreciate really fast. So you have to sell them, and then I make some profit, and then buy the next one. Unfortunately, I lose that whole machine because I was traveling in Europe. I have to give it to the tech guy, to his friend, and then I think they are greedy. They think, wow, so they took the whole machine.
Oh.
When I come back,
it's
gone. I said, well, I know these people. I'm already go to people I know. And the guy who took it was actually the brother of this founder, well-known founder. I was saying, hey, you have to tell your brother to, they stole my
machine.
They were like mining, hashing, right? They take a lot of electricity, have to plug in. And I said, well, they're doing it automatically. It's okay. I go away. But I thought, well, if overheat, it will burn the whole apartment down to fire. So, no. I got the 2 tech guy to take the machine. So they do the mining for me.
Okay.
I was thinking hard too, right? So I wanted to mitigate all the risk factor, not being burned down, right? So, and I thought I'd give it to someone like the tech guy I know, and then his friend who's the brother of the entrepreneur and well-known. So this is safe.
Yeah.
So I keep on learning lessons all these years.
Yeah.
And then disappear. Can you imagine?
I can.
And
That's
then
crazy.
I'm not really in Vancouver that much because I'm in and out. I remember that when I was telling the story one time, I was invited to an event. So this thing a little bit, and then I saw him, outside downtown Vancouver, like Georgia Street, and then was heading to Hotel Vancouver for a drink. There's a lady invited me, and I said, okay, go. And then he was there. I said, hey, I don't want to mention name. I said, what happened? Did you talk to your brother? Where is my machine? Nothing. So what I've learned, human beings need to be like human beings.
Right.
We are human beings. We really need to be good people.
Right.
Why took my machine?
Yeah. And this last many years ago?
Many years.
You've learned this lesson and you understand that, right?
One day I'm going to say what all the lessons you've learned. Just like I really like focusing the good side of human being, wanted to help, but I think therefore I wanted to spread the message, like do something good every day and try to be helpful. I do see the future with all the technologies. There's like the human connection
is starting to be lost a little bit, right?
Not a little bit, a lot. And
it needs to be recaptured. And I get it. Like these kind of like podcasts bring people together in person.
Yeah.
But honestly, all these stories you learn, you grow, you get better, even from investing and else, right? But if as we kind of come to the end of this podcast and conclude, if anybody at home is listening, whether they're an LP, a VC, or even a startup founder, or anybody else who wants to connect with you, Evelyn, what's the best place to get in contact with you?
Wow. I'm always hiding myself.
Yeah.
And Well, I think LinkedIn
LinkedIn
because I want to build that because I don't ever have a profile there. I think it's fun now too.
So I'll make sure everyone at home to drop in the show notes where you're listening to today, LinkedIn to Evelyn so you guys can connect with her as well.
Y.K. Lee. So it's not Evelyn Lee. It's Evelyn Y.K. Lee. Those are my middle name or my Chinese name when my grandparents gave me when at birth. So I always remember that.
Okay, perfect. Well, honestly, this has been awesome to chat with you. Thank you for sharing so much of your insights and your story. You've traveled so much, and you've been able to see the world and you can see the direction of where everything is going. And I think the conclusion, a lot of this is passion is so important to drive relationships.
Yeah.
The world is changing geopolitically right now. So there's opportunities for people to build bridges between different countries and nations. And also being a good, ethical person, helping out, just brings back more seeds you've planted and helps you grow, right?
Yeah, be a good person. We're only here for limited amount of time in this physical body.
Yeah.
And when I was in India, and also a lot of this developing country. I mean, of course, now India is like, wow, it grows so much. We actually participate in one of the big company equivalent of Amazon, right? Called Flipkart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Flipkart.
With one of my LP. So in that, I was a GP.
Oh, okay.
I always joke. Oh, I'm all P's. GP, LPs, SPV, whatever, PP, PP, private placement, PP.
Some person, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
all P's. So
yeah.
just help people and so mentally, so we can be strong all together in the positive, good energy feel.
Yeah, that's what's really missing. It's kind of eroding in society right now. And if we just remember those principles of like AI is coming out, but don't forget about HI, human intelligence.
Exactly.
And human intelligence needs to be protected and be nice to people. But no, thank you so much, Evelyn, for coming and joining us on the show. Do you have any last words for the audience listening in?
Well, I would say follow this guy. He's the next generation. He's so cool. I am very impressed.
Thank you so much.
I met a lot of people. I met a lot of founders. I met a lot of entrepreneurs. I met a lot of investors. I met a lot of people, but he impressed me.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's only 34 years young.
That was young. Exactly.
I got so inspired. Got me I want to get back to me when I was 34.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes when I'm not tired, some taxi driver, Uber, they, being told I'm in my 30s. But when I'm not stressed, right? So I think you able to do all this, you love doing what you're doing without stress, because I know how stressful it can be.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, but you just show it at ease every time. I know how much, because we're the same all the time, just... Oh, Chris just called portfolio company. Missed call. Yeah. Well, actually, he's using your new
GPT,
exactly. So we are testing out and see how it show itself, and I'm sure it will be a very good experience. Yeah. And I wish you all the success.
Thank you so much. And honestly, I hope at least our conversation inspires people at home. At the minimum, what I want to do, and I can tell you want to do, is inspire others. You can inspire, we can lift generations, we can make massive changes. Right now, the world is facing a massive wealth inequality problem. We're trying to solve that by democratizing and giving capital access and teaching entrepreneurship to everybody. Entrepreneurship is the education that frees people from the chains of society and allows them to experience the beauty of the world in their own way. So we're just... anything else you can share, I'll put in the show notes. I'll make sure everyone can connect with you. But this has been great. Remember, everyone, here at Startup Legends, we interview rock stars from around the ecosystem. We have Evelyn with us here today. And we want to be able to share that as the innovation ecosystem is growing outside of Silicon Valley and other places, we want to emphasize to do it ethically, to do it morally. Look at each other. Don't just do it for profit. Think about the people and planet around us. And if we can think about how we elevate others, the rising tide lifts all boats.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much for joining the show. Take care, everybody, and we'll catch you next time on Startup Legends.